Of course, I got his voicemail.
I got a phone call from her. I just assumed that they were on the ramp and that she was going to be delayed.
I just basically said, I think this is it. My plane has crashed. I love you. I love the kids. And I love you, I love you, I love you. I think that's basically what I said.
About 15 minutes later, checked her voicemail, and that's when, she basically said, we've crashed. She was screaming into the phone. Everybody around her was screaming.
I felt somewhat peaceful. But I was also sad that I might be leaving a family so young.
Your heart's ripped out of your chest. And I literally was shaking as I was looking at that phone.
The flight attendant starts yelling to go to the wing, go to the wing. And so myself and a lot of other people turn around and start heading back up the aisle. The next thing I remember after that was stepping out onto the wing.
Rob Cullajay, who had been going on a golfing holiday with his son, leaves his seat in row 6 to join the crowd at the wing exits.
People were actually climbing over seats to get out. Once we stepped out of the plane, the water it wasn't the thing that shocked me the most. It was the slipperiness of the wing because of the jet fuel that was in the water already.
Once on the wing, Rob's relief is short-lived. His son, Jeff, had been seated separately, right at the back of the plane. And he can see that's now underwater.
My son, I knew was in the back. That's all I knew. I didn't know if he had gotten out yet. Now, is he in the back of the plane, stuck or injured?
13 miles away in Brooklyn, the NYPD scuba team is scrambled.
Patrol bell goes off. We know we got to start getting ready, making our way towards the helicopter and getting going to the job.
At the plane, several people have fallen off the wing or jumped into the water.
And you could see the fear and terror in her face. And I said, "Miss, don't give up." I actually slid down into the water off the wing and grabbed her and pulled her onto the wing, yelling all the time, "You're going to make it, you're going to make it."
Nick Gamache is one of the last to reach the plane's forward exits, where Captain Sullenberger is ushering people into the rafts.
He was just kind of standing there, and he was the picture of calm. I mean, we just crashed a plane, and here he is. I mean, he's wearing his captain's jacket. And he was, just telling people, get into the rafts, get into the rafts. And he was yelling at people for the back to come up to the front.
After jumping out of the plane without a life jacket, Barry Leonard tries to swim to the shore, but then has doubts.
There's no way that I could make it to either shores. I will not survive. I honestly just turned around and started swimming back to the plane.
The front life raft on Barry's side of the plane has finally deployed. Freezing and in a state of shock, Barry is pulled onto it.
There was a pilot that was sitting on the side of the raft, and he said, "Sir, you have to get out of your clothes. You're going to freeze to death." He actually took his shirt off of his back and gave it to me. Well, I thought it was just incredible that he had given me his shirt.
3 minutes and 40 seconds after impact, the first ferry arrives at the scene.
As I pulled up to the plane, guys were cheering, women were crying. My guys started handing out life jackets. We tried to get as much out there in the water as possible in case somebody slipped off a wing or one of the rafts deflated. People's lives were dependent on us.
Deckhands help Vincent carefully maneuver his ferry as close as possible to one of the wings.
They were giving me hand signals, 3 feet, 2 feet, stop.
But the plane is in the middle of the river, where the current is fastest, making it a constantly moving target.
So it's an ebb tide, and we're just on the south side of the plane. and the plane keeps turning in to my starboard side.
As a second ferry arrives, another problem emerges. The boats aren't designed as rescue vessels. Their decks are nearly 7 foot above the water, too high for the passengers to reach. The boat crews throw down nets and rope ladders. As passengers begin to scramble up from the wings, a new danger looms at the front of the plane.
The back of his boat was starting to swing towards the people in the lifeboat, and we all start yelling at him to stop, 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 because he literally squished into the lifeboat and was making it kind of push up a little bit. And I thought, oh my gosh, you cannot injure those people.
The ferry makes a lunge at us, not on purpose, obviously.
So we were yelling at him saying, you know, stop, stop.
The emergency slides, which double up as life rafts, are still tied to the plane.
We wanted to cut the raft loose from the plane, so if the plane went down, it wouldn't pull the raft under too. We immediately said, throw us a knife.
Mark Hood is in the same life raft.
The ferry came back, tossed the captain a knife. The captain cut us loose, and we began to float free.
60-year-old Rob Cullajay has been on the wing for over 4 minutes. His only hope is to climb up onto the ferry.
I scooted up this makeshift ladder. At that moment, I was petrified because of the fact that I didn't see my son. I saw everyone else but except my son.
One of the officers said to me there may still be bodies in there. We don't know.
Hundreds of New Yorkers are witnessing firsthand another major catastrophe in their city, and some of them are filming it.
Definitely a plane. The top tail. Yeah. There's a life raft with people in it.
In this previously unseen footage, workers in a Manhattan office block capture the dramatic scenes.
But it didn't go under. It's still above the water. It's still, I see the cockpit.
Don't stop recording that. You can sell that to the newspaper.
When the NYPD scuba team arrive, they find a scene of chaos. 7 boats, including a US Coast Guard vessel, are pulling people off the rafts and wings. But there are also people struggling to stay afloat in the freezing water. A passenger captures the helicopter's arrival on his mobile phone.
I remember climbing up the ladder as the helicopter showed up, and it was kicking up spray and dust, and I just remember thinking, you know, here I am climbing up this ladder, and the wind shear from this helicopter is going to drop me into the river.
When we got down lower to the water, we saw that one victim in the water, and I said, that's who needs the immediate help. That's the person that we have to get to first. And I knew that I can get to her much faster if I didn't have a tank on.
Mike just gestured to me. He goes like this. He made the split-second decision to take off his gear, and we collaborated and decided one with, one without.
In the crush around the sinking plane, the helicopter can't get lower than 20 feet. Ordinarily too high for the scuba divers to jump.
There's a lot of things going through your head, but the one priority is getting in that water as fast as I can and getting to that victim.
Detective Delaney knows that if he delays, the woman could drown. He makes an instant decision.
Detective Delaney went in first, and he took off.
Detective Rodriguez follows his teammate into the water.
We swam up to her from the side or the back, and she was in a bit of a panic. She was frightened. I told her to let go of the net. You're gonna have to trust me. And she then thought that the ferry boat was gonna roll over us or you know, run us over.
We both swim her over to the closest platform, which is a rescue ladder with a platform that one of the ferry boats deployed. Now she's taken care of. And now, you know, the mode turned towards the plane. We got to get to the plane. We're at this point, we're thinking there's